Hi everyone. This is a how-to video on how to get started in Overleaf, editing your own LaTeX documents. I'm gonna start off with just a blank, bare bones pack or project. Open up a file and show you how to typeset both math and English beautifully. So first off, Overleaf has a ton of documentation and it's really great. So if you need help on how to, I would go here first. And I'll show you how to do mathematical expressions, subscripts, whatever, matrices, fractions. It'll give you examples that work. You can copy them and paste them into your file and get going. But for now, um, maybe I'll just start a new project. So go here, click new project, and I'll do a blank project. I'll call this Discrete Math 2025. Okay, so now if I go back to my projects, that's the very first one at the top. And this is just a basic bare bones article. It uses the package graphic X. That's for inserting images. We don't need that right now. So I'll delete it. Of course, it just took whatever I called the title and put it there, but I'll put some spaces in there. And you really don't even need that, but this is if you wanted to, you could have title, author, date. If you wanted to, you could slash today is a command you can use, and that will give you today's date. Begin document, make title. But we don't even need any of that. So I'm just going to go back to bare bones, just hello, YouTube. Type that in there. So you can see here that basically whatever happens before the begin document is called the preamble. And that's stuff that doesn't compile. It's just you ask for packages or you define your own commands, stuff like that. And I'll show you how to do that later. But what you actually see that shows up is the stuff that's inside the document environment. So it's begin document, end document. Every LaTeX file has to have that. Within your project, the first file is going to be called main, and you can change that. You can have more files and just compile those. Whatever one you have open on your window, if you hit compile, that's what's typically going to compile. Okay, so let's see here. Fun stuff that you can do with LaTeX. You can say, maybe ask a question like, what is discrete math? Hit compile. Notice that even though it's on a new line, LaTeX just put it right there. If I wanted it to be on a new line, I'd either have to put an extra white space line, and now it's on its own line, or I could use double backsplash, and that's another command for new line. Also notice the indentation here. If I don't want an indentation at the start of a paragraph, I'll use the command no indent. Okay, so what is discrete math? Well, discrete mathematics is a hodgepodge of topics that study discrete or separate numbers or structures. Basically, it is a collection of mathematical topics that are useful to computer scientists and mathematicians. It really just became popular in the second half of the 20th century. Basically, it's everything that's useful for a computer science major to know, or a software engineering student to know, or a data science student to know. And it's also a lot of fun. So that's kind of like a rough intuition for what discrete math is. Studying puzzles, discrete numbers like the integers 1, 2, 3, 4, even the rational numbers 1/2 and 1/4, but numbers that have a gap. It's not just continuous mathematics like calculus. Okay, so that's discrete mathematics. Now, if I wanted to emphasize something, I might change the color of a word. And to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say text color red, and then I'm going to try and turn that into discrete math. And now I'm going to get an error. That's normal. And what it's upset about is it doesn't know what the command text color red is, because to use this, I need to use a package. So whenever you need to use a package, you type use package. And then in this case, what I want is the color package or the X color package. So we'll start with X color. And if I need more, I'll change that to slightly. Okay, so now that I've called the use color package, I'm able to use the command text color red, which you'll see I use colors all the time to make different parts of the document pop. If I wanted to, I can make it bold-faced, text color boldface. And you can see here that I'm using squiggly brackets to denote what I want to be bold-faced. Okay. Maybe I want to make a big title at the very top of my screen here. What I might do is do something like begin center and end center. I'll just type hello there for now. So you can see now it's put something in the center of the screen. And maybe I want to make that bigger. So what I'm going to do here is make that huge. And so what this is doing is it's making everything inside of this curly braces huge. And maybe I'll call that discrete math 101. Very first lesson there. Okay. Inside that center environment, I might also just put my name, large, Eric Insco. So you'll see that large is smaller than huge. And it's right there. If I want to put it on its own line, I can put a new line there. And it'll center it below there. Now, another very useful command is vertical space. So /v space. And you can put all kinds of different things in there for vertical space. 12 point means basically one line. 12 points is the equivalent to one line or one character. You could also do 1 centimeter, and that'll move it down 1 centimeter. You can do 1 inch. Let's see that. That's even further. So basically centimeters, inches, I like to use points. If I'm just trying to do one line, I'll do 12 points. That looks good to me. And maybe I will make my name blue for now. So again, to make something blue, you do text color. It takes in the argument that says what color you want to change that text color to. And then you put squiggly brackets or curly braces around whatever you want to turn blue. So since Eric Insco is inside of this piece here, it turned it blue. Okay. That's just the very basics about typesetting in English. Now let's try to make a list, a to do. So maybe I'll do begin, itemize, end itemize. Itemize is the environment that you use to do bolded lists. And so now I'll have one bullet right there. So make a bullet style list. And item 2, make a numbered list. I'll show you how to do that next. And then 3, make a numbered list using the alphabet. Make a list with alphabet labels. Show you how to make a couple of these lists here. So again, itemize makes the bulleted list. Let's see here, comments in LaTeX. It's always good to know how you're going to comment something in whatever language you're working in. So comments in LaTeX, you typically use the %. Comment out dot line. So that's how you comment. Okay, so if I want to make a numbered list, then rather than using an itemize, I use enumerate. And make a numbered list. Item 2 is going to be make an alphabetical list. Yeah. And also put some text there. Here is a second list. So notice that now instead of being bullets, it's now 1, 2, and so on. So that's enumerate. And actually, there's another package you can use called use package. enumerate. So again, whenever I need to call a package, I mean, honestly, if you just Google, how do I do this? And typically it'll say, well, here's the command. And if the command needs to use a load a package, you just add the use package to the top there. You can either do this separately and do use package xcolor, use package enumerate, or I could put a comma between those and call both those at the same time. And if I do use package enumerate, nothing's changing here. But maybe I wanted to make a sublist or change this. So maybe I'll do, let me just copy that list. If I've loaded the enumerate package, then what I can do is I can put an argument there that says I want to make a enumerated list, but now instead of using numbers, I'm going to use no letters, alphabet characters, and I'm going to surround them with parentheses because I like the way that looks, and I'll put a period at the end. So whatever goes in here is what is going to show up there before the list. And just notice that, like, if I don't want parentheses, I just have to put like a dot period or something. All of these work, and it's just going to change whatever shows up there. Maybe I want to do a colon. I don't know if that looks good or not. We'll see. That's not terrible. Okay, so that's just useful, and it doesn't have to be alphabetical, actually. I could also put an I, and then I'll use kind of like a lowercase Roman numeral here. So make a numbered list using I's. So now I got 1, 2, and 3, and let's see what happens if I do 4. This is item. Okay, so that's great. Maybe I'll make one more copy here. And what I'm going to do is I'll share this LaTeX code with you in the comments of the video or something. Or maybe put a link to it in this project so you can access this. Now you have an idea of how to make different types of lists. Okay, so far we've typed a paragraph, we've changed the color, I've centered something, and I've made some lists here of things to do. And that's a pretty good start for being, what are we, 10 minutes into this video? Yeah. And I'll delete this in a second, but you can also do, I think, uppercase Roman numerals if I do that. Yeah, so there's uppercase Roman numerals, and maybe I want to put a period there. So many different ways of making lists. Maybe I'll just leave that there, and I'll go to the next page. So if you use the command new page, it'll just start the next page. I haven't typed anything on that new page, so right now it's just leaving it blank. Here is a new page. We'll do some math. So there's page 2. Here's a new page. We will do some math. Maybe I want to make that a little bit bigger. So I might do something like those squiggly brackets there and do large. Maybe I'll make it a little bit bigger than the other large. So if you use a capital letter, it makes it bigger than smaller. That's too big. It's going on its own line. Let me do that. It's better. Maybe I'll center that too. Okay. So now let's do some math typesetting. Let's see here. Okay. So here's how you type in math mode. I'll hit compile, and notice, yeah, that things don't show up unless you hit compile. So here's how you type in math mode. And if I do 2 plus 4 equals 7, it's going to look not terrible, but kind of wonky. If I do x plus 4 equals 7, then the x looks exactly the same as the the font that I'm using for regular type mode. So to make this a math mode, what you do is you use dollar signs. What the dollar signs are doing is saying begin and leave, or begin math mode and leave math mode. And so that's one way of doing it. Another way to do math mode inline is slash parentheses and slash end parentheses. And that will do the exact same thing. So these commands are exactly the same. The parentheses, slash parentheses, end parentheses are maybe a little bit better stylistically, because otherwise you just have to count how many times a dollar sign shown up to know if you're in or outside of math mode. So this is how you type in math mode. Let's call that inline. Yeah. The reason why I call that inline is it's staying on the same line as your previous sentence. Okay. And here is how you type in math mode on its own line. So one way to do it is to do slash square bracket, or you can do double dollar signs. X plus 4 equals 7. Hit compile, and now you can see that this, when you wrapped in double dollar signs, gets placed on its own line. And that's fine. Or you can do slash square bracket. Okay, slash bracket, slash back, end bracket. And that will place it on its own line as well. Okay. Or, and now there's another one, begin equation, end equation. X plus 4 equals 7. Broke something. That's great. Begin equation, end equation. Oh, you know what? That's interesting. I bet you what I need to do is load another package, use package AMS math. That's a package put out by the American Mathematical Society, I think, or commonly used by the American Mathematical Society. And so to begin equation or end equation, you need to call AMS math. So I learned that something different, that the slash bracket and the dollar signs don't require that, because it does basically the exact same thing. As you can see, the output here is the same, whether I did double dollar signs or square brackets or begin equation, end equation, with that little star there. You might be wondering, why is there a star there? Well, if I get rid of that star, then it's going to give me a numbered equation here. So the star is just saying, get rid of the number. I don't need that to be a numbered equation. For now, maybe I will leave it as a numbered equation. Okay. So there's some just very basic things in math. Let's do a few more things. Let's type a matrix. Because that would be useful to know. Maybe you've taken a linear algebra class, or maybe we'll use matrices later on in discrete math. So what I could do is just do begin matrix and end matrix. And maybe I want to make this just an array. I'll do 1, 2, and 3. And if I just do one line, then what it's going to do is just give me an array of the numbers 1, 2, and 3. Typically, we put delimiters around our matrix, so either braces like that or parentheses. Okay. And if I wanted to do a second line, I might do 4, 5, and 6. If I recompile that there, then you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is now surrounded by parentheses. So if I don't put P or B, I just do begin matrix, end matrix, it just does an array. If I want parentheses, then I can do parentheses as my delimiter, I should say. Or I could do braces or brackets. Those are some of the common ways that you might write a matrix. And maybe you wanted to multiply this matrix. So we have a 2 by 3, and maybe I'll multiply by a 3 by 1 let's say. So 3 by 1, I might do 1, 0, 0. I have 2 zeros there that I don't need. Recompile. Now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 1, 0, 0. Wait, can you do that? No, you can't do that. You need to do a 1 by 3. So put those on new lines. So notice that for matrices, the ampersands are what give you new columns, and then the double backslash, the new line, is what gives you a second line. So that looks better to me. And if I do a 2 by 3 by a 3 by 1, I should get a 2 by 1 matrix, I think. So let's do that. P matrix this time, and P matrix. Compile at this point, and it's just not happy because I haven't put anything in there. Let's see here. This would be 1 and 4. Okay, hopefully I did that math in my head correctly. Looks good. Okay. And inside math mode, I can change the color. So if I really wanted to emphasize something, I could do like text color red 1, and text color red 4. And I could highlight the fact that those are the exact same numbers there. Text color red 1, and text color red 4. That's pretty nice. Okay, let's talk about some discrete math things here. Maybe I want to make an array or a table, like for truth values. So let's see here. There's a environment. There is an environment called table, but for whatever reason, we typically use this other environment called tabular. I think because tabular's maybe got more features or something. And in tabular, what you're going to do to start this table is you're going to want to say how many columns you're going to want to have. And in this case, I'm going to do 3. And I'm going to put dividers in between them. So these vertical lines are just saying put lines between the rows. Maybe I won't put one there so you can see what happens if I don't. I just put a space there. So I'm going to have 3 columns. And if I'm going to have 3 columns, that means I need to have 2 ampersands. And maybe in this array, I'm going to say I, A, and 3. Okay. So what that did is it made a table of 3 numbers. Well, no, I mean, I guess a string, a letter, and a number. And notice that this tabular thing, it's not in math mode. So if I wanted to actually have a variable, like a look like a variable, I'll put $signs around it. So then now I have I, the variable a, and then 3. Let's see here. If I wanted that number 3 to be in math mode, I'd put $signs there too. And so let's see here. Notice that the high is centered, and I don't know if you can tell the A is left justified, I think, and the 3 is right justified at the moment. Although it looks like they've just kind of centered all 3 of them, so maybe it doesn't really matter. It's hard to tell. Maybe I'll just put C, 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 and have them all centered. Yeah, it doesn't really look different there. Well, maybe it's because I put in the math mode that it wasn't justifying. So let me go back and check that, because that could be left, right. No, they all look centered in. So I don't know what the left and right are supposed to be doing. Okay. Now, if I do another thing, I put 4, do 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna get some type of error, and the reason is that I don't have enough columns in my very first argument here. So I just need to add another C in bracket, and then it'll be happy. Okay. You might be wondering, like, man, that looks like garbage. How do I get lines, horizontal lines? So there's a command called hline. What hline will do is it'll give me a line right there at the top. Maybe I want hline there, and maybe hline at the very bottom. That looks okay. And I think if I do hline twice, it'll put a double line there. Yeah, and I've divided those up. Let's see here. Let's center that. Okay. And now let's make this into a truth table. So let's say that I have a statement P and a statement Q, and I want to know what P and Q and P or Q. See that it's yelling at me. It's giving me an error. If I click on the error, it says missing dollar signs. And that's because this P and Q is a math mode thing. And again, just to review, I can enter math mode either with the dollar sign or with the left parentheses, right parentheses. And just if you zoom in here, you can see that this is what a variable in math mode looks like versus the regular font of a math variable. So I'm going to put all of these in math mode. And that should look a little better right there. And of course, in a truth table, I need to have, in this case, because I have two variables, P and Q, two premises, I'm going to start by putting true, true, false, false in for P. So I'm trying to get all different combinations of trues and falses here. True, false, true, false. Okay, and that looks okay. Although, I don't know, I just like color. So I'm going to show you how to make the falses blue. False should be red. So text color red for the falses. Okay. And when I do that, man, it just messes up my spacing, and I'm OCD about the spacing of these things. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back up to my preamble, and I'm going to define my own command. You can do this in LaTeX anytime you want. Just type new command, and it's going to take in the first argument of the new command thing is just going to say, I'm going to call this slash RF. Okay. And I'll put a count there. Red F. Okay. And then I'm just going to go back down and copy that code right there. And notice Overleaf is real smart. It knows that I'm going to want to call that a lot. So look what it did. I just defined a command RF. And what this is doing is saying anytime that I type slash RF, that, right? It's going to automatically insert this code form or go back and look up what that means and insert it there. So it just saves a lot of space, and it saves you a lot of time if you're typing different commands all over the place. So that's kind of nice. Okay, so now I have red F's everywhere there, so I can see trues and false. Should I make the trues blue? Text color blue, true. Okay. And what I'm going to do is define my own command for blue T's. So new command slash BT. And the only thing you have to be careful of is you don't want to use a command that's already defined in LaTeX, but you'll get an error if that happens. It'll say it's already defined. Okay, so that saves me all that extra typing. I'm just like type BT and BT, BT, oops, and BT. Okay, and now we want to do assign the truth values here. So we're going to go through and stamp these true or false. So if I have P and if P and Q are true, then P and Q happens to be true. So slash BT. And if either one's false, then it ends up being red. So I'll do slash RF, right? Because for P and Q to be true, both have to be true. So hopefully that's clear. And then if I want to do P or Q, which we use slash L or for that linear or symbol there. Let's see here. I would do just one of them has to be true. So in this case, the first three are going to be true there. And then this last one is R. So or is false if both have to be false. If either one is true, then it gets stamped true. So hopefully you can see that works out nicely. And now if I wanted to add another truth table, maybe I wanted to do if P then Q. One way to get that arrow is to put a /2. That'll make that arrow. What I'm doing is I'm just making the table a little smaller here. I should really just make all those blanks so I can think about what those are. So there's a good start for my truth tables. This is P implies Q. It's its own truth table now. And that means that if P is true and Q is true, then it is true that P implies true. If it were ever the case that P were true but Q was false, then this would be false because there'd be instances of Q being false where P was true. So P being true did not force Q to be true. This is /RF. Yeah. And the last two cases are what are known as vacuous truths. That's if the premise is false, and it doesn't even matter what happens to Q, this evaluates to true. I'll make another video on vacuous truths. But basically we're saying there's nothing to check here because this premise was false. So we just automatically evaluate that to true. Okay, so there's another truth table. Let's see here. So notice that because I only had 3 columns, I went down to three C's there, and I only have 2 ampersands in each line there. Okay. I think that's a good start for today. I'll pause the video here and I'll come back and do it later, but I will share this code with you guys in the comments so you can work from this example. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye.